And now that we see our institutions are completely corrupted by billionaire pedophiles, to address what you said about Trump, I agree with you. I'm a Navy SEAL in this come get me, raid my house, take my stuff. You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me.
Andrew Tate spent months practically daring UK authorities to come after him. But when the pressure finally became real, the whole situation hit differently. He had mocked Interpol warrants across social media, publicly called out UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer by name, and told reporters he wasn't scared of a UK judge, a UK lawyer, or anybody standing in his way. That wasn't some random internet flex either. Tate appeared seriously confident that the legal heat couldn't touch him. So where did all that confidence come from? And why did he seem so sure he could keep pushing the line?
But I'm very proud to be an American, and I'm very happy to be here in Washington, D.C. Hasn't it improved so much?
Yes, it has. Oh, since President Trump cleaned up the place. Has it improved? That's the question. Since you've been here last.
Well, I was last here about 7, maybe 8 years ago.
His taunts got personal fast. On camera, Tate went directly after Starmer while continuing to mock the Interpol warrants connected to the legal storm closing in around him. Posting your own location for everyone to see while basically daring a government to come get you is a wild move. That's the kind of flex someone makes when they seem convinced the consequences aren't really coming, and Tate's confidence appeared to have a very specific source. Whether that belief was accurate or not, Tate seemed convinced he had Donald Trump's personal backing, and that may help explain why he was moving like the legal pressure couldn't touch him.
And President Trump, Andrew and Tristan Tate landed in Florida today on a private jet after being released from custody in Romania. They are accused rapists, human traffickers, not thought of as good people in many circles. Did your administration pressure the Romanian government to release them, and if so, why?
I know nothing about that. I don't know. You're saying he's on a plane right now?
He's back. They already did.
Yeah, I just know nothing about it. We'll check it out. We'll let you know.
I do. Look, obviously this involves, there's an English element here, so obviously it's important that justice is done, and human trafficking is obviously, to my mind, a security risk, and so we'll catch up with the story in due course.
Even when Tate was asked straight up on camera whether Trump's team had actually helped him, he couldn't give a clear answer beyond, "I would like to think." That's a long way from showing there was any confirmed backing behind the scenes. Still, right up until the arrest, both brothers kept projecting that same confidence in public, acting like the pressure wasn't shaking them and keeping the tough image alive even as the legal situation around them grew more serious. Bragging about being proud to be American while actively facing possible extradition over serious allegations is a bold kind of confidence to put on display.
To be a country. Now it's charged by Keir Starmer, some fucking wanker who keeps issuing Interpol warrants for me. We need to get Andrew Tate, Interpol. Bro, just fucking chill out. Chill out. I'm in Beverly Hills. Come get me. I'm not hard to find. I post my location on Twitter and I'm 6'3", walking around Beverly Hills with a crowd of adoring fans. Come get me.
But that swagger may have been seriously misplaced. When reporters directly asked Trump whether his administration had pressured Romania over the brothers' situation, his response didn't exactly back up the image Tate had been projecting. Instead of confirming some powerful connection behind the scenes, Trump's answer raised even more questions about whether Tate really had the political support he seemed to believe was there. Trump saying he knew nothing about it only addressed his own personal involvement. It didn't settle the bigger question of whether other officials had discussions about the case.
I'm right here in Miami. Come get me. Arrest me. Perp walk me. Put me on the news. Tell everyone I'm a human trafficker. You think I'm not versed? You think I'm not ready? I'm a Navy SEAL in this shit. Come get me. Raid my house. Take my stuff. You think I sleep with a full phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me.
Breaking, Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested in Miami.
And that's where the reporting gets much more interesting. A New York Times investigation reported that Trump's special envoy, Richard Grenell, had at least 2 separate conversations with Romanian officials about the Tate's case. According to that reporting, within days of the second conversation, an instruction allegedly came from senior levels of the Romanian government telling prosecutors to compromise on the brothers' travel restrictions. Romanian officials have denied that they were pressured, so that part remains disputed.
And I'm back this time, and I'm like, wow, how has he done so much with this city in such a short period of time?
Crazy.
And the National Guard and the Capitol Police are very happy to see me and my brother. We've always backed the Blues, so we're shaking a lot of hands and taking a lot of pictures with those guys, and they're doing a fantastic job.
I know, it does look really good here. And the Trump administration in general, sort of how does, I guess, the UK view President Trump? Like, what's the word on the street over there? And what are your thoughts about the administration so far?
I think a lot of people in the world, there are two types of people in the world. There are the people who believe in what the mainstream media says, and there are people who don't believe in what the mainstream media says. And the mainstream media, I mean the big media channels owned by like the George Soroses of the world. And I think the people who really believe in this mainstream media, the fake news as President Trump calls it, they have a bad opinion of the president and what he's doing here in the United States. But everybody with their brain switched on seems to love him. In Romania, everybody talks very highly of our Vice President, J.D. Vance. They speak very highly of him because he was the only American to highlight a lot of problems that are actually affecting their country. And with politics, let's not pretend that there's ever such thing as a perfect politician. But what you have to do is you have to look at the overall job that your politician is doing. You have to understand that you are not in their position. You have to understand that they know more than you do about the situations you want to comment on, and you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. I personally am very happy with what the administration has done and accomplished so far, and I just think things would have been a hell of a lot worse had the other team won. So I'm very happy, and I will always back President Donald Trump. I have since 2015.
And I'm very close to the Trump family. I know them well, and I spoke to Barron after the incident, and I look forward to, once I am free, being with Donald Trump in person and reminding him that he's a bulletproof badass.
This is the attorney for President Trump, somebody who has been a fighter for the America First Party. Her name is Alina Habba, and she joins us live right now.
Hi.
Hello, Alina.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Well, nice
Big
to meet
fan.
you.
The Financial Times separately reported on contacts surrounding the case as well, adding another layer to the controversy. Even Tate's own team has floated a quieter version of that same theory, suggesting there may have been more happening behind the scenes than the public initially knew. Even Tate himself couldn't give a solid answer when he was pushed on what was really happening behind the scenes. All he could say was, "I'd like to be optimistic," followed by, "I have no idea."
Does anybody know where Andrew and Tristan Tate spent the days before their arrest in Miami? Because if you don't, allow me to fill you in, because you literally can't make this shit up. This is Paolo Zampoli, Donald Trump's U.S. Special Envoy for Global Partnerships, right? Also a longtime friend of Donald Trump and Melania. Paolo Zampoli is the former modeling executive who said that he actually brought Melania to the United States and, of course, introduced her to Donald Trump. There's a lot more about this man that'll really have you thinking, but I can't help but wonder why the Tate brothers, just days before their arrest, were partying in Washington, D.C. as guests of Paolo Zampoli, especially considering the new allegations against them.
That's a pretty shaky foundation for someone who had spent months projecting the image that he was untouchable. But once the extradition threat started looking a whole lot more real, Tate didn't exactly tone down the swagger. Instead, he doubled down in public, pushing that confidence even harder as the legal pressure around him kept getting more serious. Broadcasting exactly where you are and basically inviting authorities to pull up is either next-level confidence or one massive miscalculation. In this case, it appears that confidence didn't match what happened next. Around the same time, Tristan was pushing a similar vibe in his own interviews, describing what he saw as a warm reception from law enforcement. The way both brothers talked publicly made it seem like an arrest wasn't even on their radar, which makes what happened next hit even harder. Getting handshakes and taking photos with people from the same broader law enforcement system involved in your legal situation creates some serious irony when extradition is still hanging over you. At the very least, it suggests Tate may have read the room very differently from how things ultimately played out.
UK's Crown Prosecution Service, like it says here, said that it is bringing additional charges of rape against Andrew and Tristan under ongoing cases against the brothers in that nation. The agency said that the brothers are awaiting extradition to the UK. And if you didn't know, Andrew Tate faces 7 additional counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and 19 additional charges relating to illegal you-know-what. Tristan Tate faces 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. New charges relate to 4 additional alleged victims. Previous charges were connected to 3 alleged victims. The case against Tristan previously included 3 counts of rape, 6 counts of actual bodily harm, and 2 counts of human trafficking. Which makes me wonder, if these motherfuckers can be arrested, then why can't the rest of the individuals on that list and in those files be arrested as well? Something about this shit just is not adding up. Not that I don't see this as an obvious celebration.
And some of that confidence wasn't coming out of thin air either. Tate wasn't only talking about supposed connections to people in Trump's political orbit, he was publicly appearing alongside figures associated with that world. Those appearances didn't prove he had protection, but they certainly helped create the image that he had powerful connections in his corner. Sharing a stage with figures close to an administration can definitely create the feeling that you've got powerful people in your corner, even if that proximity means absolutely nothing when the legal heat arrives.
Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Go ahead.
Trump doesn't like that question, and reporters have learned to expect a short answer whenever they ask it. But Tate, of all people, has actually said the opposite of what you'd expect on this exact subject.
And myself, I'm in a lot of trouble with many charges from the British government for my speech, saying the things I say are completely unacceptable. But primarily, my message is challenging the blanket authority and the blanket narratives which are pushed by our institutions. And now that we see our institutions are completely corrupted by billionaire pedophiles, now we see our institutions have been completely overrun and they're operating in secret rooms and subverting the rule of law. I think that makes it even more important that people like myself continue to challenge authority and demand answers and demand transparency and not believe official narratives. This is just the tip of the iceberg. What we know is going to be a fraction of what actually took place. And if I find it absolutely disgusting, and I don't want to make this about me, that they've managed to do so much damage to my brother and I with no evidence, while sitting on such a huge pile of evidence for some of the most important people on the planet. To address what you said about Trump, I agree with you. But I think Trump would have been under huge pressure from some of the most important people in administrations all around the world to release nothing at all. And the fact that he continued to try and be transparent and allow people at home to understand how this world really works, I have to give him credit for, because a lot of people would have been in Trump's ear saying, don't release anything. And yes, he's a maverick, as is Elon. And if our democracies are going to survive in the coming decade with all of the problems that exist in our societies, transparency is the most important thing we can push for.
And that's where Tate's apparent confidence in his connections to Trump's world runs straight into a hard limit. Political access and legal protection are 2 very different things. More importantly, there's one subject involving Trump that reporters repeatedly press him on, and it can turn an ordinary question into a much bigger story fast. Trump has often given reporters short answers when they push him on that particular question, so they know the exchange can shut down pretty fast. But here's where the story takes a surprising turn. Tate, of all people, has publicly said something that cuts in the opposite direction from what you might expect on this exact subject, making his position especially interesting given how strongly he had associated himself with Trump's political world. Saying that someone you're supposedly counting on for protection should also be investigated is a pretty risky move if you're trying to stay in his good graces. But this story gets even more tangled from there. That same web of political associations leads into a completely separate controversy, one that shouldn't be treated as proof of anything about Tate's own case. It's a genuinely disputed issue that became connected to the wider conversation through one shared name.
Not only that, but it turns out, now that this is all said and done, a bunch of whistleblowers are anonymously coming forward and putting the picture together of exactly what happened to me. And I'm going to say a name at the end of this sentence, just so my enemies know that I'm on the right track. You know, you can enact injustices upon a man as much as you like, but it's going to hurt your soul if you are a good person. And there are some good people out there, it seems, because I've been sitting here for years in these emergency meetings I referenced earlier, screaming about how unjust it is and how it's definitely a conspiracy and I don't know exactly who's behind it, but there must be some the NGOs and the British government are working together to try and get me off the internet and to silence me and to put me in jail. It turns out, after all these years, now that the content of my character has become more clear to people, and people have opened their eyes as to what's actually happened to me and what I really did wrong, which it turns out legally, as of right now, is absolutely nothing, as I still have a clean criminal record and always will have. But whistleblowers are coming forward. People from within the ranks of the enemy are coming forward and telling me who has done this to me and who's really behind it. And I would just like the Center for Countering Digital Hate to know, the CCDH to know, that I see all the trails that lead back to you, and a full investigation is going on to uncover exactly what it is that you guys did. So there's a slight name drop for you all. And then again, there will be legal cases, court cases, in which I am the defendant, once I zero in on absolutely everybody else who took part in this. But my legal problems aside, it's genuinely not that interesting anymore. Who cares? I'm in freedom. Just got back from New York, just got back from Dubai. I was in Beverly Hills before that. Do I really give a shit?
Opening up an entirely different line of questions. Here's what appears solid in that web of connections, and what absolutely shouldn't be mixed together. The Tate brothers reportedly spent time in Washington as guests of Paolo Zampoli, a longtime Trump associate who now serves as a special envoy. Separately, Melania Trump has publicly denied having any relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, including denying the claim that Epstein introduced her to Donald Trump. Zampoli, meanwhile, has long claimed that he was the person who made that introduction. Other reporting has presented conflicting accounts that challenge his version, leaving that particular story disputed and unresolved.
Let me clear up this news you're seeing on the timeline. The British state has accused me of a crime. They said 15 years ago I did something I wasn't supposed to do and I'm a criminal.
But that's a completely separate controversy from the allegations and legal proceedings involving the Tate brothers. Moving in overlapping social circles isn't evidence about their case, and it shouldn't be treated like some secret smoking gun. Back on the actual legal situation though, there was one major thing Tate's confidence never seemed to fully account for. If a U.S. presidential pardon only covers U.S. federal offenses, it doesn't wipe away criminal cases brought over alleged conduct in another country. So regardless of how close Tate believed he was to Trump or people in Trump's orbit, a presidential pardon was never a legal escape hatch for overseas charges. And the allegations themselves are extremely serious, making any idea of political connections simply making the problem disappear a massive stretch. The brothers have faced numerous criminal counts and allegations involving rape, human trafficking, and assault, among other accusations. Those remain allegations unless proven in court, but they show just how high the legal stakes had become. Having dual citizenship doesn't magically hand you a legal escape route. It can just mean dealing with another layer of courts, hearings, and legal headaches. And while that reality was closing in, Tristan wasn't publicly talking like someone ready to back down. Instead, he started signaling that he wanted to go on offense, shifting from defending against the allegations to threatening legal action of his own. Saying you've been mentally preparing a lawsuit for years is a bold flex when you're the one currently dealing with extradition proceedings. Tristan was basically signaling that he wasn't planning to sit quietly on defense. He wanted to hit back through the courts. But there's another detail that makes that threat especially interesting. This isn't his first recent attempt to take the fight into the legal system. He already took another swing not long ago, and that effort didn't exactly go the way he wanted.
My message to the UK government is I'm not afraid of you. And I'm not afraid of the UK lawyers. I'm not afraid of the UK judge. I'm not afraid of any of it because I've done nothing wrong. And everybody knows I've done nothing wrong. And putting me in jail doesn't prove I've done anything wrong. And satisfying a few internet masturbating leftist haters doesn't prove I've done anything wrong. I know I've done nothing wrong. God knows I've done nothing wrong. So if I get free from here to avoid the Wizz Air flight, which would actually bother me, unlike jail, I will take my own private jet and I will fly directly into London. I'll walk into Scotland Yard and say, hello, motherfuckers, charge me or get fucked. Because I'm not living with this shit over my head for the rest of my life. And I'm not afraid of any of them. If you want to charge me, I'll see you in court. And if you want to put me in jail, that's fine. Because I know I've done nothing wrong, and every free-thinking person on the planet knows I've done nothing wrong. So I'm really not afraid of these people. So I would go straight to England to squash that. And when all of that's done, I'm going to move back to the greatest country on earth, USA, because the USA is finally back. After 4 long years, in fact, maybe a little bit longer, it felt like, of hell, where America was living under absolute tyranny.
Just months before all of this, the brothers had already taken a major legal loss when a federal judge dismissed their $50 million lawsuit against Meta over their 2022 platform ban. The court ruled that Meta had legal protection against the brothers' claims over removing them from its platforms. So heading into an even bigger legal battle, their recent courtroom record wasn't exactly giving them much momentum. But when the new charges actually arrived, Tate didn't suddenly switch gears or tone down the swagger. If anything, his public response stayed just as defiant, even as the stakes around him became far more serious. Going from months of public taunting straight into charge me then when the legal pressure actually hits is at the very least consistent. Whether that's a smart strategy is a completely different question.
I don't care. I'm an American, and I don't owe him
get
shit.
that.
And when DeSantis stands up and apologizes to me, when the AG apologizes to me, I'll consider it. And Byron Donalds is a punk too, because he sold out and went on the news and started talking shit, calling me a human trafficker. I've never been convicted. The point of America in general, the point of democracy is innocent until proven guilty. If they get quizzed about me, if they stand up on the news and they say, what do you think of Andrew Tate? They have a very easy answer. We live in a democracy. It's innocent until proven guilty. I don't know the specifics of his case. What I know is he is not convicted. They don't have to sell out like punks. They don't have to start saying I'm not welcome here. If the senator or the governor tells me I'm not welcome here, you know what? Then fucking keep it. I'm not a beg. I'm not desperate. And I don't give a shit if Ron DeSantis likes how I live or not. To be honest, I don't care. I'm an American citizen. I came here. I've been convicted of no crimes. And for the same reason you won't live in Cali or Mamdami's New York, I can't live here until these clowns apologize to me.
And Tate didn't save that defiant energy only for authorities overseas. He aimed it at political figures closer to home too, publicly demanding an apology from Florida's governor and calling out a congressman who had openly supported an investigation involving him. Instead of cooling things down as the stakes climbed, Tate kept pressing forward, challenging the very people who could add even more attention to his legal situation. Demanding an apology from state officials while you're also fighting extradition over dozens of serious charges is a pretty striking level of confidence to keep showing in public. Tate and his supporters now argue that much of the case against him is built around old clips being dragged back into the spotlight as some kind of gotcha.
There is going to be a massive lawsuit at the end of this year. There is going to be a massive civil lawsuit at the end of this year in an American court where I, Tristan Tate, am no longer a defendant for doing something wrong. I'm the plaintiff. And some of the people who helped do this to me will be the defendants. I've been working on it for many, many long months now. I've been mentally preparing for it for many years. And I can't say too much about it, but I can tell all of you to keep your eyes and ears very wide open to any litigations I'm involved in, because there will come a time very soon when the stand is going to be packed full of people who helped do this to me. And I will be standing there as the plaintiff in total freedom.
They also argue that similar material didn't produce the outcome critics expected in Romania. But that's where the real legal question kicks in. Is the UK case actually supported by stronger evidence beyond controversial clips and Tate's own public taunting? Or are people once again mixing up internet outrage with what prosecutors can prove in a courtroom? Those are two very different standards. Serious allegations and provocative videos can generate massive headlines, but a criminal conviction requires evidence tested through the legal process, and the charges remain allegations unless proven. So what do you think? Is Tate's confidence about to backfire? Or does his defense have a stronger argument than his critics want to admit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, smack the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you in the next one.